Welcome back to That Leslie Sound Series.
We have some new pedals for you.
Today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to do another installment of our series, That Leslie Sound. And the Beard is going to tell you who the new contestant is, but they're not really new.
Right. When we started this series, there was you have a bucket list, right? Maybe you have a bucket list right now in the chat. What's on your bucket list? Because it always intrigues me what people kind of...
In the tremolo world, right? Or the
Leslie world, any world, really. I mean, I don't care what's on your bucket list. But anyway, we have... This was a bucket list pedal for me. Love the Leslie sound. Can't do the series if we don't hit Neo Instruments. Because they are making probably some of the best Leslie simulators on the market. Mm-hmm. Hands down. And the Ventilator II was the pedal that was kind of on the list, but realistically speaking, it's a really expensive pedal, and we were like, well, we're not sure that we can afford to spend that much. But the Vent 2 doesn't cost maybe as much. Let's reach out to Neo, see if they would help us out. And so I just want to take one more moment to thank Guido at Neo, because he really took a chance. Mm-hmm. The channel had maybe 600 subscribers at that point. It wasn't a big channel. And he was like, sure, I'll help you out, and I'll help. And the ask was for this. The mini vent. All right, let's not go for the big guy. Let's see if you can help us out with the mini vent. Let's feature that. He said, love the idea of a Leslie series. Can help you out with that. But is that what you want? Because top secret, I have two new pedals coming out, and they ended up being the Micro Vent 122 and the Micro Vent 16. So modeled after a 122, just like the mini vent is, and then a 16, which doesn't have the high rotors in it. More of kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan, Leslie 16 Fender True Tone, whatever it's called. True Tone? I might have messed that up. Vibratone.
You'll put up, yeah.
Vibratone. Right. And we were, of course, I was, of course, like, yes.
Please.
Right.
I think they serial number 2 on each one of them, yeah. I think.
How much for both? All, yeah. Right? You know, and we figured something out. He helped us out. We actually had these before they even came out. We were able to put a video out in the day they came out. It wasn't a paid thing or anything. He did give us a discount on getting these in. Did the whole Leslie sound, moved on, did the Tremolo series, moved on. We've been working on the Shakedown Sound series. And I said to Pat, I'm like, I just don't feel good.
I don't feel complete.
Yeah, I don't feel complete that the Leslie series is missing one of the flagship models of Leslie pedals out there. So we reached back out to Guido, and we were able to get this in. And again, helped us out a little bit. And so thank you to Guido for that.
Then, of course,
yeah,
I'm like, there's more stuff they make, right? If anything they make is anywhere near the quality and sound of these, we need something else. So it's discontinued, but we like it for one reason, if nothing else, that the name, it is the Drive-In. It's a drive pedal by Neo. Don't believe it's made anymore.
I don't think so.
We found this one on the pre-owned market, but around the same time that we got the Ventilator II in it, so we hope to be playing this in the playing out period. I have not even plugged this in yet.
Right.
So
that's it. That's the story behind the whole thing. So we're going to jump right into it. Let's go through the features and stuff. So basically, before this all got started, I looked at the mini vent, and I was like, how do you change settings? Because there's not a knob to be found.
Right.
And so it's all programming, plugging it in, holding down buttons and stuff like that, watching flashing lights. You can adjust all the parameters. Really cool. One of the things that we like about the micro vents, they're missing the stereo out, but you have some knobs and some more control. Mm-hmm. And so let's take the knobs and more control. Let's take the stereo out. I think this one's stereo out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Take the stereo out of this. Let's give you stereo in, stereo out. Let's put some knobs back on it. Still some, controls and some hidden features that you can do. And we end up with the Ventilator II. And it's quite a machine. It's quite a machine. So we're going to get into it. Start dry or...
Yeah, so we had to blow the dust off of the Hampton Supro, which played in every one. We had to get the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe back off the shelf and fire the tubes up and paired it up with the Tyler PT22 and playing in the 4 position. So just a little reverb in the amps.
They sound nice together.
Stereo, they do. Get a little beef out of the Fender. Mm-hmm. Bigger chassis. 40 watts, right? And the Tyler's 22.
So it's been so long since we did a Leslie episode, I'm not really sure where to start.
Let's make it up.
Let's just do this. We got everything kind of straight up and down. We have the fast speed up a little bit. I can see it's in the slow mode right now. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just let you play for a second on that slow speed? I'll click it to the fast speed. Let's just hear it before we turn knobs, and we'll jump in and turn the knobs. All right. So here's what it sounds like. Sounds great.
It does sound great. Thank you. Good night.
Right. Let's start with these two knobs. Okay, first thing you're going to notice is we have fast speed, balance, drive, mixed distance low, mixed distance high, slow speed, acceleration, mode, remote, and level. Okay.
And a 30-ish page instruction manual.
Yeah. It's not cool.
I see 27 on that.
Well, the first 15 are in German, so...
Right. Tune, baby.
So, let's start on the mixed distance low and high, because I think these two knobs are pretty interesting. From all the way left to noon, you're mixing in the Leslie. So if we turn both of those completely off and you just played a chord...
Maybe I'll do the climb thing.
So you're not really hearing anything. Now, we'll mix those in as we move them up, but when we get to 12, it's full mix. Mm-hmm. From 12 to 5 o'clock, we start moving the mic placement.
Right.
So we bring in the sound up to noon, and then from noon to 5, we pull the mic away. Yeah. So we'll have like full throb at noon, I think. And I think it's full throb at noon, and then we pull the mic away. So how about when you play, I'll do the low, and then I'll go and I'll do the high, and then we'll do both together. All right. like they were throbbier at noon.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No,
they were throbbier at all the way up.
I thought that's when the mics went away, though. Like,
So I'm wondering if it's actually pushing the mics forward. Play it again?
Yeah. I felt like the top did, for sure. So, yeah.
I think it's pushing the mics forward. So you bring the Leslie sound in up to 12, and then as you go past 12, it's going to start to get more throbby.
Okay. So the first part, just put a big X through that.
I think I'm just going to push them just a little bit for the rest. Let's do fast and slow. And I started to say this earlier. You got the 2 rows because you have secondary features and we need to switch.
Right.
So let's do the fast knob. And we're going to do it kind of backwards. I'm going to start at the fastest speed. No, we'll just do it.
Okay.
Slow to fast.
All right.
We're on the fast setting now.
I like the ramp high to hear it. Sorry.
Yeah. So now we're going to go to the slow speed and run that. And in order to do that, I'm just going to hit both of these buttons and hold them. And now we see this blinking. And this tells me that we're in the secondary function. So if I roll this all the way down to the slowest speed, we should hear the very slowest slow, and then we'll move up. You know, the only bad part of that was you couldn't
See the rate.
see the rate visually.
Right.
But what I want to do is I'm going to click out of that, push both buttons, so we're back. Now I'm going to hit it up to fast. No, I'm going to go back to slow.
It's the ramp speed.
Yeah, I'm trying to show. All right, we'll start it. We're going to fast. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go all the way down to slow and then click it to slow. And I don't think you'll hear a difference because I think the fastest slow is the slowest fast.
All right.
Can you keep up with that? The
Is
fastest
this
slow
like
is
the down up on the
yeah, so fastest slow is the slowest fast.
It does sound really good.
Because some of them are, we found that some of them overlapped, some of them meet, and some of them don't
Came
meet.
up short.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this one meets. All right. So I don't know that we wanted that slow to be the fastest slow. We haven't talked about the balance knob, and I find this kind of interesting because the way it's written in the manual and stuff, it's more of a tone.
Mm-hmm.
So let's show that, and then we'll talk about it. So. So what I find interesting about this, I think it's a little different than most of the other pedals we see. A lot of them would have a balance where you could kind of balance between how much of the low you hear and how much of the high.
Mm-hmm.
So you could push to hear more highs, push to hear more low rotors. You can do that over here with the mixed distance high and low.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have more highs than we want, we can pull that down a little bit, or we can pull the lows down a little bit, or clean them up. And what's interesting about that is it's not taking the lows out. It's just changing how much the lows are affected by the Leslie. So you could go to totally dry. The Memphis Leslie, we just learned about this, right?
Yeah.
So the Memphis Leslie would be, they would unplug the low rotor so it doesn't spin.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a solid low and a spinning high. So if you take that mixed distance all the way off, you have no spinning high. If you take the high all the way off, you have just a spinning low, which would be kind of like a Leslie 16, I would think.
Right.
Go over to this, though. You're not changing between the two rotors anymore. You're just putting more lows in.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the left, you're cutting highs. Go to the right, you're cutting lows. So, tone knob.
It is interesting. Yeah.
It's set up a little bit differently, but I think it gives you some more.
Now
You can lean to the high, but keep the low rotor in there, or whatever.
Now we're gonna have to have another T-shirt. That Memphis sound.
That Memphis.
Let's go find it.
All right, so where are we at? We did the mixed distance. We did the mix high and low. We did the balance. We did the fast and slow. Acceleration is how fast you would change between
Fast and slow, right?
fast and slow.
The ramp, right?
Which we haven't played at all. If I go to that and turn it all the way down, go back. Let's try it.
Pretty fast.
And then all the way up. So I think we want to have that something a little quicker just for demo purposes.
Right. The video's already long enough.
Right. So that leaves us with mode and remote.
Right.
And the one thing we haven't even mentioned this mysterious other switch in the middle, which is stop.
Because why would you stop it?
Right.
It's a break, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's a break. If you the way it's set up right now, if you play and we hit it, it will just go ahead one time, give it a little bit of volume.
With the volume. It's the volume knob.
Okay.
I think everything should ramp.
So, well, we're about to get into that. So another option is on the back. There's a expression port, and so we have this remote secondary feature. So if I push both of these, we're in the secondary feature thing. I'm going to take remote to 7 o'clock, and I know that this is 7 o'clock because I'm looking at the piece of paper here. And we take the remote switch to 9 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Thank you for your help.
I'm like a
I already messed this up once. We are setting it up to be controlled, stop, slow, and fast, controlled by an external unlatched switches, ring, slow, fast, tip, stop. So
with the rattlesnake cable and the handy dandy
electrical box.
Don't look at the labeling. It's not for this episode.
This is tip ring. Mm-hmm. So one of them, if I push it, and so we could, interesting, if I hit both again, and take this to 7 o'clock now, 9 o'clock now, boy, it changes the way these two operate. They're always in stop now. The left one does slow as long as you hold it. The right one does fast as long as you hold it. So if you...
Do that again? Yeah.
So it's always stopped. Hold that in, makes it go slow. Hold that in, makes it go fast. So you can set up a different type of switch. Yeah. And something like this is super easy. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it in an electrical box, but something like that's really easy to make. If I hold them both in again, and we turn this to 12 o'clock, we've now set it up for a expression pedal. I have the Mission Engineering EP1 here. Toe is going to be as fast as I have the fast speed over there. Heel is going to be the slow speed. And so we only did 7, 9, and 12. There's also 5 or 3 and 5. There's other things you could do with it. Just to show that.
You can rock around the clock.
So that's using the control switch with the expression pedal, using it if you have some kind of controller. Even the Leslie controllers can work with it. And, lots of stuff you can do with that switch. With that expression port, very cool. But you can also mess with these.
Right.
And so we're not going to demo this. We did demo this kind of when we did the mini vent.
No.
That's a micro.
Right. I knew that. So
actually, with both of these,
you can change the switches. You can change the modes of what this switch does.
So interesting on the micros, you go, well, how do you go between fast and slow with one switch? There's a lot of really interesting switching options that you can change. Depending on whether you're using it with a loop switch or not using it with a loop switcher. It's brilliant. You can go between fast and slow with one switch on it very seamlessly. Great to use. I've used it live. It's awesome. And then how to kind of program using the switches with this one too, because there's no knobs and you have to.
Right.
So if you want to see how that looks, you might want to go check out one of those videos. But basically, here's what you can do. You have 6 different modes. I don't even think I'm going to read them all to you, but based on how you once you get into the editing thing, which I think a lot of times has to do with holding one down and plugging it in or something like that. Just as an example, mode 1, he calls it the 122 style. Both switches are latching. Press once to change the speed. Press it again to go back. Hit the stop button for it to go to stop. Hit it again for it to go back on. Ones that I thought were interesting, though, like mode 4, both switches are momentary. Unlatched types, press and hold. Pressing the stop button causes the ventilator to stop until the switch is released. Pressing the fast-slow button causes it to run fast until the switch is released. The default mode, when neither switch is pressed, is slow.
It was a little bit like what you had on your magical electrical box there. A little bit.
Yeah.
Some of those features were that way.
So, and he's come up with 6 different ones, so you can find the one that really kind of works for you. I like the idea of pressing on it and holding it. It gets fast. You take your foot off and it gets slow. Like if you're somebody that uses it slow a lot, that might be a really cool thing. I think the way I have the micro vent set up is you press it once to turn it on, press it again, it goes between fast and slow. Press and hold it for like a second or two and it turns off. So you can still use it. But there's a whole bunch of things with that too.
That's right. It has Velcro on the back. He was using it. Had to go get it.
So we get in the weeds. We're getting sort of. All right.
We didn't go through all 6 modes step by step, but we
spent
a little time on it.
Anything we missed. On the back, there's a switch for high and low.
Yeah.
One is really good for guitar, keyboard, whatever. If you have really, really low output pickups or low output instrument, you might switch it to the other one. There's a little light up here called overload. When you first set it up, you get in the secondary functions and the level. You hit it until that overload peaks, and then you back off a little bit. So you keep turning the level up until you peak it, and then you back it off. It helps you set the level for it. The one knob we did not do is the drive.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
We need to come back to the drive. Should we come back to that right now?
We can. And we're back.
We'll just turn that down to 0 and run that knob. Do that big hit with it all the way down. So it's not drive in the sense of
right.
like...
I think we talked about that before. It really just enhances. It sounds like an organ that's a little hot.
Right, because that's
what you want.
You want to drive those tubes in the organ. So it's a tube simulated drive is what you call it.
Gives you a little sizzle.
Good. All right, so did the speeds, balance, acceleration, drive, mode, distance, remote, the other distance. We didn't really do the level, but it's there, fast and slow. The switch we just don't use, which is the bypass on and off. All soft switches, they feel good. And the brake.
Yeah.
Expression pedal, remote switching, stereo in, stereo out. Can run it in mono. And I think at the end, we're going to mono. One of us is going to run it in mono, and one of us is going to run one of the other ones. You're probably going to plug into the drive-in pedal. And
somebody is.
We're going to jam a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
But before we do that.
Yeah, this is the point where we, right?
Right.
We'd like to thank you for watching. Certainly thank you for hitting the subscribe button, clicking like or notification bells, leaving a comment down below, going out to Instagram or Facebook. Anytime you interact with the show, we really appreciate it. We have our new website now, so stop by the website. All the Leslie, there's places where like all the videos from Leslie series are. Makes it really easy to kind of look through and watch. And we can't stop without saying thank you to our members. So those of you that have joined the membership, thank you for joining the room with us here and helping to drive the show. And with that,
so I see what you did with drive the show. I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, especially if it says Neo Instruments on it.